I'll tell you what I'd love. I'd love for us to get hockey back.
Oh,
third time can be a charm. John Buccigross is the guy that originally was reporting this, saying that it's through expansion, guys, or either relocation, okay, that this is going to happen with the NHL. Houston is another team that's being talked about. We know teams or southern cities can host teams and have success. We're seeing it all around us. Florida, Nashville. Hell, Nashville has a hockey team, and it's crazy up there. So, Mike, the idea that hockey could come back to Atlanta, is the city ready for another shot?
Well, I think there's a lot of fans like me, like you, like I love hockey. Like I told you, I spent the last 2 weekends watching NHL hockey in Vegas and up in New York for the Rangers. There's so many transplants that are here, in addition to folks who love the Flames, love the Thrashers, and the fans didn't do anything wrong. The fans, that's the thing, the fans did not let down the hockey in the NHL. The ownership did. Atlanta Spirit Group is one of the greatest frauds ever perpetrated on Atlanta sports fans, and we're still paying for that. And Bettman wouldn't touch it, Carl, because they were so litigious. Those guys were suing. Their owners were suing each other. Hell, they even sued King and Spalding to try to get the valuation right when they sold their shares to Belkin or bought Belkin out. So anyway, they were never going to touch it. Phoenix right now is on life support by the NHL. They're playing in a dinky arena. It's like at the Arizona State campus right now. They're not even playing in a regular-sized arena. Would they relocate the Coyotes? I don't know. Expansion takes you to 34 teams. And you mentioned Houston. You've already got the Kraken in Seattle. But you'd have to have another team come in if you're going to expand. And then the other question. Right now, maybe it goes up. Right now, it's $650 million for an NHL expansion fee. You got to give the NHL $650 million. And that's before you even break ground on a new arena. So who's got the juice to do that right here in Metro Atlanta these days?
Well, maybe it's somebody that's not in Metro Atlanta. Maybe it's somebody that comes from the outside in. Listen, Tony Ressler was, his wife.
We never knew who he was. Right?
His wife was an actress, and we were familiar with her and some of her work. But at the end of the day, when Ressler came in here and bought the Hawks, we were like, I don't know, Mike. It sounds really good. Is it going to happen? I'm not sure if I'm completely convinced because, as you mentioned, there are just a lot of hurdles you've got to get over. But I will say this: I do think at this point where the city is, right, and I always say this, things change. Where the city is, I think the city would support it, and it would get good numbers. The idea of wherever the arena is, and I said this earlier, guys. Everybody told me Cobb, it was going to be the downfall of the Braves, and why are they moving? This is terrible. Attendance is off the charts. Okay, now it helps that they've been good, no doubt, but that hasn't hurt the Braves by moving to Cobb. I don't think if you put this new arena, whatever it's going to be, in OTP and Alpharetta or wherever it's rumored to be, is going to hurt the attendance. If people who want to be a part of it, you want to go to a Braves game, you go.
Right.
You want to go to a Hawks game, you go to State Farm, you go downtown. You want to go to a Falcons game, you go to Mercedes-Benz. I don't think that plays when people start saying, I'd never go. I'm not going all the way up there. Well, you go to Braves games.
Yeah, and that thing is a 75. I will say this, 75 and everything we thought was going to be a nightmare, it's not. I've never, ever missed a first pitch. Getting in and getting out is a breeze.
And we were petrified.
Yeah, Cobb County, they do an amazing job. Anybody who's ever, wherever you park, if you park on one of the ancillary lots, if you park in the red lot, you're out. It's easy. So the other thing is 400 corridor is a blank show as far as traffic.
It is.
I don't know. See, on the south side, population density is the lowest where I live, and it's higher, obviously, by where you are from 75 to 85. So you're going to put it somewhere up there, and if you put it off of 400, that's great for the suburbanite. I mentioned it today. Immediately, I got the dreaded, I don't go downtown because of the crime. Well, yes, of course, yes, I get it. And MARTA doesn't go to where you need it to go. If we actually had built MARTA the right way, and again, Carl, that ship is sailed. But if you could have if you're a guy who lives anywhere north, like hell, all the way to Cumming, and you could get on an express train, we don't have that capability. It doesn't wait. It goes station to station. There's no way you could go and go, whoop, from North Springs and right on down to Atlanta in one stop. You can't do that. If you did, that's called the Long Island Railroad. That's called Philadelphia's transit system. That's the way it works in major cities. We didn't do that. So we're stuck in the car. So you got to go to where the people are. That means it's got to be up there for it. Although the rink space is still there. The profile fits for hockey at State Farm.
Yeah.
And you're going to have your own, if you want to call it a cross between the Battery and Atlantic Station, but the Gulch project is going to be at street level going up.
It is.
And that could be, obviously, for some guys who want to own a hockey team, a chance to be getting with Tony Ressler and make a fortune. Right?
Let me ask you this, though. If I had that money, Mike, why would I split it when I can go own the land?
Right.
OTP.
Develop it. It's all yours.
It's all mine. Why would I do that? No disrespect, but I'm going to go do this and I'm going to build a project just like the Battery. We're going to have all those restaurants around the arena, and game night's going to be buzzing, and we're going to have all the amenities, and it's mine. Right. If I've got that kind of money and we're going to do this, I'm doing it that way. I'm not going to share the arena, nights where we got to share, and, the Hawks are playing. Don't need to do all that. This is where we're doing, and that's what I would do. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I get it. It could be retrofitted. We asked Steve Koonin that probably 2 years ago, and he was like, of course we could do hockey.
No, the profile, I mean, all the parameters are still there. You got to make an ice making, that's no big deal. But, I mean, they actually still have a Zamboni room, actually. So here's the deal. You're right, though. Cars, travel, nobody wants to come downtown. Like, don't get it wrong. I lived in Midtown. If I still did, there's nothing wrong with the city. Crime is crime in all major cities right now. I get it. But, I mean, the idea, I've gone to sporting events at State Farm. Prior to that, it was Phillips. Mercedes-Benz, before that, Georgia Dome. I've been here 25 years. I've never been mugged. I've never felt threatened. I can't speak to everybody. I think somebody sees a homeless person, they freak out. I've never understood that thing, but that was a thing for some fans who never wanted to come down to watch the Thrashers.
Yeah, look, I agree with you, and I don't know what the numbers are as far as crime and all of that stuff, but I do know this. When I've gone to games, and we go to games all the time, and I've gone to games all my life. This is what I've done. I have never, and most of them have been metropolitan areas, Dallas, Houston, Denver. I've never felt that way where you go, I'm in trouble, or I feel uncomfortable. That's just me, and I get it. Mike's right. Every city has those issues, but I don't think that's going to be a deterrent from us getting a hockey team. They're not going to look at that. You know what they're looking at? Our growth. They're looking at the money that's here and the support that it could get, and more importantly, Mike, if you're in the NHL, why wouldn't you want to be in Atlanta?